Hey, it's another great day at the Solomon Trading Institute. If you have not done so, it would be real cool if you would just go ahead and book a call. I want to see what it would look like if you and I were to work together, our team and you and your energy and our energy. I just believe that together we can get something done in this space. Unfortunately, this is something that you didn't learn in high school, which you should have, in my opinion, but I don't write the federal curriculum for education. However, if I did, money market education would definitely be at the forefront of it. Many people have what we call financial literacy, but they don't have what we call money market literacy. So you could be just like my beautiful wife. She has a bachelor's in finance, a master's in business administration, and she didn't know anything about money markets to the tune of being able to apply knowledge because she had not been given that knowledge, even with that extensive background. So here's what I'm saying to you is I'd love to talk with you and just share with you. I believe beyond a shadow of a doubt, we could get something done. Now, here's something that I must do. House cleaning or housekeeping. Here's what must happen. You must understand that it is um, it is very important that you understand that there are some risk involved, right? So that's really key and really critical. However, what we do is we give you an education, a world-class education that mitigates those risks, and so therefore we can move very responsibly in and out of the market. So in our live tech room on today, our live tech education room, this is a room where our traders, they get together and they're not given financial advice or trading advice, but they can ask questions about the strategy. They can ask questions about the software. They can ask questions. In other words, this is another service of support where we're actually walking you, hand in hand, throughout the whole process from learning all the way to actually live trading in the market. So today in the market, there was about $300 per contract potential today. And as I always talk about it, some people are trading 4 contracts, some people are trading 1 contract. It just depends on where they are in their journey. So some people are here. So if they were here, that was $300. If they were here, 6 times 3 is $1,800. If they were trading 10 contracts, 10 times 300 is 3,000. So it just depends. You always move up as you grow in capital and as you grow in confidence. But that is something that, that is something that you'll understand, better by and by as you continue to look through our program and go through our milieu. So that's really critical and that's really important. So that's what was going on today. So on yesterday, February the 28th, there was $300 per contract as well on yesterday. So let's look at the proof charts for March the 1st. So here's today around about 9:13 here, as you can see, and we call this entry here a trap. Right, that was an entry, $100 per contract potential here. Here is an entry that we call this entry a layup because that's the easiest shot in basketball. That's the easiest setup to learn as you become a part of what we're doing here. And here we have another layup because we had a reset there, and this is another layup with the prime liquidity line being right there. So bam, right quick, boom, boom, boom. So there were a few fundamental interferences. And when I say fundamental interferences, there are 2 different ways that you can look at a market and analyze a market. One way is fundamentally, and the other way is, guess what? It is technically. So we look at technical analysis, so to speak. That's the foundation of what we're doing because what we want to do is build a program on predictability and consistency, not necessarily making a whole lot of money at one time, if that makes any sense, but predictability and consistency. That's what we're all about. So there were a few fundamental interferences today. Those were some fundamental announcements, but all in all, it was a good day. We were able to finish early. Yesterday was a late day because of the way the market moved, and I'll talk about that in just a minute. But everybody was able to see God today. God stands for, that acronym stands for GOD, goal of the day. So everybody has a goal, and most people's goal is about 3% a day. And so everybody in the live tech education room today was able to meet their goal. So that was real good. So now going back to yesterday, February the 28th. Now, here's the proof chart there. There were $300. But as you can see, look at the time. The first trade did not trigger until 11:07. The next trade didn't trigger till 11:48, right? So that means what? You had to be what we call patient. Patient. And guess what? Discipline. Patient and what? Discipline. So that's critical. It's important that you understand and you recognize that that is necessary. And then here is the next chart. So in the last trade, it did not trigger until about 2:46, right? So the beautiful thing about it is that the way we do it, what we do, you could actually be doing something else, typing on your computer, talking, or what have you, and you'll be able to see what it looks like when the trades are actually about to set up. So that's important. But the key thing is that you had to be disciplined, right? And so yesterday is a good opportunity to talk about this because of the fundamental interferences that was taking place. So you can see anytime you see any red folders or any orange folders there, that means that there's a fundamental announcement that's taking place that will what cause you some problems. So as you can see, as a result of a speaker speaking, some of the things happen and it kind of slows that, that market down. So on today, on yesterday rather, the market was slow down. Yeah, but here's the thing. Patience and discipline, you cannot get away from it. You cannot get around it. Like there is no way to get around patience and there's no way to get around discipline, right? There is no program on the planet. There's no style on the planet that you can do that's going to allow you to skip being patient, right? And skip being disciplined. Right. These are what I like to call winning things, right? Winning things. My father, who he's gone on to be with the Lord now, but this is what he used to talk about. He used to say, winners do winning things. That's the reason they win. It's not about osmosis. It's what the winner is doing. How is the winner preparing? How is the winner practicing? How is the winner playing? How is the winner visualizing the game? Because I was a basketball player. So he used to always talk about, you're not just going to win just because you show up. He says, you're going to win because you do winning things. Well, I liken that to life and it's tantamount and it's concomitant to matriculating through school or whatever. If you're going to be successful and if you're going to win, guess what you're going to have to do? Winning things. You're going to have to do what winners do. So number one, a trader who is a winner, and you can look at pages 19 and pages 20 in my book. Pages 19 and pages 20 in my book. And in my book, page 19 and 20, there's a section in there called the 20 habits of wealthy traders. A person who is winning in the trading game, they are patient and they are disciplined. So what are they patient for? What are they waiting for? Number one, they're waiting for the right condition. Number one, they're waiting for the perfect condition. Now, when I talk about conditions, I'm talking about things that may be in the way on the chart that will hinder your trade. So instead of saying, I believe that this resistance will break, or I believe that this is going to, relinquish its hold on the market, this spot of resistance or this spot or this support area, I believe that it's going to break. Well, guess what happens? Well, it doesn't. Well, but the winner doesn't even consider trading in a situation or a scenario where the conditions are not perfect in the first place. So that is what winning means. That's a winning thing. And so yesterday you had to be a winner. In other words, you had to be tough-minded and you have to make sure that you don't get lulled to sleep, and you have to make sure that you don't get impatient and you enter into a trade where the condition is not perfect. Number two, the perfect setup. We have a criteria. we have a criteria, a 5-point criteria, right? That we want to see a liquidity line, we want to see a digital footprint, we want to see manipulation of institutional leadership, we want to see the confirmation of direction, and then finally, we want to see a nameable trade setup. Those are 5 things that you will learn. And if those 5 things are not there, then a winner is not going to even consider entering into a position. Why? Because the criteria is not met. So number one, perfect conditions. Do you have market structure? Do you have momentum? Is the market poised to go up from a probability, a statistical standpoint, right? And then number two, do you have a perfect trade setup? Have you found liquidity? Have you found the digital footprint or the character change? Have you found and have you discovered manipulation? Have you seen a confirmation of a continuation? And then do you see a nameable trade setup? It's called a winning thing. Number three, the perfect stop loss position, the perfect stop loss position. What am I talking about? My risk to reward ratio. What I must understand as a winner, as a winning trader, is that every time I enter into a trade, it's not just that trade that's important, but it's my whole overall account. It's called risk to ruin ratio. You have to make sure that you're not risking too much on one trade. So where can I put my stop loss? Where can I put my place, my stop loss, just in case there's something that happens in the market that I'm not expecting? Where do I do that? That's what a winner does. That's a winning thing. If my stop loss has to be placed so far away from my entry that the money that I would lose in the case that this thing did not go right is too much, then this is a trade that I filter. Filter. I filter that trade. Why? Because it's going to cause me to, well, what if you win? Well, my question is, what if I lose? I have to always be aware of the fact that when I walk out of my house, I could get a flat tire. So I have to have a spare tire in the car before I leave the house, before I enter into a trade. I already have to have a place where I'm mitigating, where I know, hey man, listen, and I'm talking to myself, hey, listen, Cornelius, hey, listen, if this thing doesn't go right, you're going to lose some money. Well, let me dictate how much I'm going to lose. I'm only going to lose 1 to 3% of my total overall account. So therefore, I cannot enter into a trade if my perfect stop loss position is not there. Number 4, winning things. I hear you, Dad. I hear you from heaven. Winning things. Perfect price target. Measured moves, perfect price target. When we enter into a trade, not only do we know where we might lose and how much it's going to be, we also know how much we can win because we have measured the move. In other words, we know that from the place of entry to the place that the market is going to, we call that liquidity, right? Because the market is always looking for liquidity. So from the place of my entry to my liquidity spot, there must be enough room. There must be enough room for enough ticks to get my God, because I want to see God now, my goal of the day. So I need to see God. So I need to make sure there's enough room for me to see God. Does that make any sense? And then finally, number 5, the perfect place to lose. It is not wise to think that you can trade and you will never have a losing trade. That's irrational. That doesn't even make sense. So what happens is sometimes we enter into trades and sometimes the market moves against us. And in the case where the market moves against us, I have to have a perfect place to lose. That's my risk to reward ratio. I have to have a perfect place where I know that if I lose this particular trade, things are still going to be all right. In other words, I need to always make sure that I stay solvent. I need to always make sure that there is enough money to continue trading. You see what I'm saying? Hey, listen, if you're going to be a winner, you have to do winning things. Losers are losers because they do losing things, not because they're bad people, not because they aren't right. They do losing things. A losing player does losing things. He does not practice. He does not do extra work. He does not look at film. him, he's a loser. This is what losers do. They hate when practice start, and they hate and they love when practice ends. When practice ends, they can't wait to get off of that field. They are losers. That's why. And so what I want you to do is I want you to make sure you understand at all times that if you want to be a winner, you have to choose to be a winner. Now, we don't just help you trade. We don't just teach you to trade. We teach you to win. Hey, listen, if you want to know more information about what we have going on, www.moneymarketedge.com, or you can text the word profits to 94253. Hey, listen, have a winning day. It's the will of God that you prosper.